I'm your man, Wil McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the black and blue division. So whether you rep green and gold, Honolulu blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
What's up, friends and kinfolk? I just want to take a quick sideway to say June is Men's Health Month.
Mm,
Guys and ladies, if you got some guys in your life,
mm.
get them to their doctor. Let them, they got you got to know your numbers so you can be on track, so you can be there for your family, your loved ones, kids, grandkids. Definitely get into the doctor. Don't be a tough man. Yeah, if mental health is another issue, so make sure you're taking care of yourself, guys. But June is Men's Health Month, and we're halfway through the month. If you haven't seen your doctor, get on that schedule.
Hey
Back
man,
at it. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say I amen that all the way, man. Once, especially those of us who have reached a certain age, if your age starts with a five, you definitely need to be diligent about being on your health and keeping your health maintenance in order. And for young men, I would encourage you also. You don't skip oil changes on your car, right?
Right.
You want to do your annual maintenance on your body. Have it looked at. You don't want anything to sneak up on you because it's been 2, 3, 4 years since you've been to the doctor, and now the issue is worse than it was if they had caught it early on. So yeah, that's a thank you, Tellus, for coming up with that, man. Yeah, Men's Health Month. We definitely want to be on it this month, man.
Absolutely. But as always, we thank you guys for supporting the Black and Blue podcast. Tell all your football friends about how much fun we have over here. Just a quick reminder, Will and I are real estate agents in the state of Michigan. If you know anybody that's talking about buying, selling, or investing in the next 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months, hit us up for our winning games plan in real estate. Will McCann, what are we doing this week?
Yo, man, we're talking about the wide receivers in the NFC North this week. We're going to break down the wide receivers, take a look at the wide receiver group, and give an evaluation of each group and see who has the best wide receiver group in the division. The best player in the division may not be part of the best group. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to break that down. We're going to have some fun doing that today. All right, man, let's get into it here. Let's start with, as we have been all during the business season, starting with the teams as they finished in reverse order last year. So we're going to be starting with the Detroit Lions. All right, and just confirm for me you can see that screen there, Tal.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So let's talk about the group that the Detroit Lions are taking to training camp this year, starting with their top wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God. They also have the speedster, the deep threat, Jameson Williams. Looks like they're going with their second year man. He was number 3 draft pick last year, Isaac TeSlaa. They brought in as a free agent Greg Dortch. They have Tom Kennedy, who's a veteran who's been on and off the practice squad, on and off the roster for 5 or 6 years now. They're also bringing in Cedric Wilson Jr., another veteran who's been around, who's bounced around the league, along with Malik Cunningham, a guy who seems to have a lot of upside, but has also bounced around. He was a quarterback in college, and teams seem to bring him in and are pleased with him, but he seems to bounce around, never seems to get more than a 1 year deal. And then they've got some young guys, some rookies, and some undrafted free agents they're bringing to camp. Dominique Lovett was I think, a 7th round draft pick last year who got hurt and missed the entire season. And then they've got 3 rookies, Kyrie Duplessis, Jackson Meeks, and Kendrick Law. So tell us, what do you think about the wide receiver group for the Detroit Lions?
Detroit Lions wide receiver group is actually one of the groups on the team that's been fairly healthy for the last few years. So
Yes.
they have some, like you were mentioning, you got Amon Ra, who's just an elite individual, one of the top tier receivers in the league, definitely. You got Jameson Williams, who's coming on. Had early on, he was that deep threat individual, but he has improved in his route tree. So you saw him do a lot of slants last year. Still have a little inconsistency. He was better this year catching the ball,
Yeah.
but still a little inconsistent, especially in some of the bigger moments for him. But he looks like he has turned it around, and like you have him in the tier as an ascending starter. Definitely, he's going to be there. And as a TeSlaa, I mean, for the limited amount of snaps he had last year, he came in with 6 touchdowns,
Yeah.
which, when you look at the numbers in the NFC North, he might be in the top 4 or 5 as far as scoring touchdowns. We're just talking NFC North, right?
We're just talking the
Uh,
division. Right, right.
just the division.
I was
So
wondering where you
again,
were going with that when you put him in the name and then you went in the division. I'm like, hold up, what is this about to be?
yeah, right. So those three there are going to be solid, and I think having TeSlaa in more of the rotation, picking up more plays, he's going to be a big threat for the Lions. And when you look at Greg Dortch, yeah, he's going to be the fourth on the depth chart and brings that veteran experience, but he'll probably do some of the special teams as far as like returns and stuff like that. So definitely they have a deep receiver room, and Tom Kennedy again is a one of those guys that's a special teams guy that when the Lions needed a tight end, they went to him, and he was somewhat productive. So probably one of the better. Actually, I'm just gonna say it. It's the best receiver room in the NFC North.
Yeah, I would agree with that also. Um, uh, this is a pretty good group. Like you said, Amon-Ra St. Brown, three-time Pro Bowler. Uh, I know he's made All Pro at least once. I don't know, can't think of if he's done it twice. Jameson Williams, not many in the league are as fast as him. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he's extremely dangerous. Like you said, he's had some issues with drops, but the guy's a pro, man. The guy works at it, man. He like I said, he grew up cradling the football. That's how he learned how to play football. Hard to get away from that. So every now and then he will have a tendency to cradle the ball instead of catching the ball with his hands. But I do agree with you. He's gotten a lot better. Isaac TeSlaa has ridiculous hands. And he's
Right.
big, tall. He's a true X, right? He's a guy who gets down the sideline and makes tough catches. He catches those 50-50 balls. And the reason he had so many touchdowns is because he's so tough in the red zone with his size and his hands. So, yeah, he'll definitely be a contributor. I agree um, with scoring here. So I can see if I can slide this over here and just take a look at scoring for the Detroit Lions. On a 20-point system, take a quick look here at how we came up with scoring for the wide receivers. It's based on production, based on playing time. 4 points for their top wide receiver. He's got at least 1,200 yards. Up to 800 yards for wide receiver 2, up to 500 yards for projected wide receiver 3. And then your other guys, what kind of contribution do they make? Are they special teamers, like Tellis said about Greg Dortch? Even if they're a gunner on special teams, that's a contributor. That's a role that a guy plays on the team. So we kind of gave points to that as well. So for the Detroit Lions, I gave Amon-Ra a 4. Jameson Williams got a 2. TeSlaa at a 2 as well. Playing time and reliability, their guys play every week, right? So
Yes.
they were out there playing. Their depth, they have guys that they can go to who are veterans who can contribute. They're not going to be relying on rookies to play significant roles. So I gave them 4 for depth. For talent ceiling, there aren't there are not many groups of receivers better than Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. Uh, because of what they both bring. And then I gave them both for versatility and fit. They have guys who can do different things, right? TeSlaa, like I said, is the guy who can get down the sideline and make 50-50 catches. Jameson Williams can do those. He can basically do it all. He's a speedster who can also do those slip screens, bubble screens, reverses, that kind of thing. And Amon-Ra St. Brown just has elite hands, and he's got that ability to that Steve Largent for old schoolers, that Steve Largent ability. Who would be new school? Who was uh, what's my man's name? Played Heinz Ward. He could be that
Yes.
Heinz Ward type who just finds ways to get open and catch the football and make plays. So yeah, I agree with you. So overall, I gave the Detroit Lions 18 out of 20. Their group I considered to be elite. All right, so move on. Let's talk about the next team. There we go. The Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings top receiver is the top receiver in the division to me. That's why when you start talking about top receivers, I'm like, who whatever he says about this guy better compare to JJ. To Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is everything you want in a wide receiver. He's been one of the best receivers in the league since he has come into the league. Um, their wide receiver too, Jordan Addison, is also one of the best second receivers or wide receiver two in the league. Jawan Jennings comes over from San Francisco. He's been a veteran contributor, will be a solid wide receiver three for them. Wasn't sure why he ended up coming over to leaving San Francisco to come over to Minnesota. Didn't seem to be a contract issue. Looks like San Francisco just wanted to go in a different direction. And then Minnesota has a bunch of young rookie prospects and developmental players behind those three who are going to be coming in looking to make the roster and try to find a role for themselves. They have rookies Ty Felton, Dylan Bell, Marcus Sanders Jr., Luke Weissong, Terrell Davis, Michael Briscoe, Trayvon Rudolph, and Devontae Fleming. And then a young prospect who I think is a second year player who was on the team last year in Miles Price. So tell us, what do you think about the wide receiver group for the Minnesota Vikings?
So it's almost like every
Why are
week
you laughing,
we're
bro? You
talking.
haven't even started and you're laughing at these boys.
Almost every week when we talk about Minnesota, there's so much that they have to accomplish.
Yes,
It's not that they're a bad team on paper. It's just execution wise. And we're talking about the receivers, and the receivers, you have elite athletes, but they are the players that are furthest away from the ball, right?
exactly. Yes,
And they rely on their quarterback to get them the ball.
yes.
I say all of this to say Isaac TeSlaa had 6 touchdowns last year. There's no reason why Justin Jefferson should have 2 touchdowns, right? And the only reason is because they couldn't figure out the quarterback position.
It's not because
So
it's not because teams were doubling and triple covering Jefferson and nobody was double covering TeSlaa. That's not why.
that's not why.
Yeah.
Because Justin because Jefferson can go up and get the ball. He he
you,
has the skill set. When you go back to 2024, when they had Darnold, he had 10 touchdowns.
yeah,
So he was being double covered, triple covered. He was more of a threat because he had a better quarterback, right? So at the end of the day, when we're talking about Minnesota, they have to figure out the quarterback position.
yes,
Now,
yes.
His most productive year, yards wise, was in 2022 when he had Kirk Cousins as the quarterback. Is there anyone in that quarterback room that plays a similar style to Kirk Cousins? There isn't.
No, no,
No. And you can't ask a Kyler Murray to change his style.
right,
So
right,
at best, what you're hoping for is that Kyler can come in and use his ability to scramble and throw Justin Jefferson open,
yes,
right?
yes,
The other case scenario is that you see tremendous growth in JJ McCarthy, and he can stand there in that pocket and become more accurate, more efficient, get the ball out quicker. Those are your two hopes as you're going into 2026. As receivers go, this is a solid receiving room.
yes.
I think I think they got lucky in adding Jennings
Yeah.
because he is a solid player.
Who was the
Uh,
guy they lost a receiver? I can't think. They had a pretty good number three receiver that they
they
lost. I can't think
lost
of his name.
I can't think of his name, but yes, they did lose a guy to free agency.
Yeah, so I
But
agree with
Jennings,
you. Yeah, I agree with you on
yeah.
coming up with Jennings.
Yeah, Jennings, 5 years in the season, 210 receptions, 20 over 2,500 receiving yards, and 22 touchdowns in 75 games. So he's playing games. He's available. That's the other thing about Justin Jefferson. Even as an elite athlete, he has had some injuries. If you go back to 2023, he had the hamstring in week 5 that left him, that he didn't return until week 14,
Yeah,
right? So again, when we're talking about the Lions are a pretty healthy receiver group, you do have some up and downs when you have your especially your elite receiver that can't stay on the field. It has been
yeah,
a couple times. But all that being said, you have to have someone to get these guys the ball. So
yeah. I just JJ McCarthy. I just want you to know I tried to get you
McCarthy.
off the hook. I tried to get you
McCarthy.
off the hook. You heard me,
Yeah,
right? I was
yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to get you. Tellis wouldn't let you off the hook, bro.
Yeah. Nine.
No, I agree with everything you said about this group, man. Scoring for them, when I looked at the numbers just based on output and production alone, Justin Jefferson should have only got a three, right? But I'm like, come on, man, this is Justin Jefferson, man. This is where you've got to apply some common sense to your numbers. Don't make sense if Justin Jefferson gets anything lower than your highest score. Right? So Justin gets a four. Addison, the reason Addison only got a one is because, like you said, his availability the last couple of years. He's been out and he just hasn't gotten enough production to get to a two. And the same thing with their wide receiver three with Jennings last year. Jennings missed a good chunk of the season last year, and Felton is a rookie, so you don't know what they're going to give you there. So I could only give them a one for wide receiver three production. For playing time and availability, the reason they get a three and not a four is because both added, take that back, all three, including Jennings last season, have missed time, but they haven't missed a lot of time, right? So, yeah, that's why they didn't get a four. They got a three. They've got pretty good depth. They've got three solid receivers that you know can play, that are veterans that will go out and can be productive. Behind them, they've got a bunch of developmental guys, so couldn't give them a four for that. Their talent ceiling, they have Justin Jefferson on their team, right? Don't get more talented than that. And then versatility and fit with Jefferson and Addison have worked together for years and have been productive. Uh, Jefferson running every route on the tree, and Addison being productive because he's had a lot of single coverage and getting a lot of first downs for them. So overall, I give this group a 16. I give this group a B. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. All right, and this group, man, their top receiver is Jaden Reed. Or is he their top receiver? He's been one of their
Right.
most productive receivers because he's been the guy who's played the most. But when he's been on the field, the guy who's been the difference maker has been Christian Watson. And then he did just get the big contract. So I know that he's the guy that they feel as if when he's on the field, he is their best player or their best receiver. Their third wide receiver is a guy who was their first round pick last year, who I expected, you and I think both expected a little bit more out of last year. Thought they were going to feature him a little more last year, and it just didn't come together for him last year. So I've got him listed as wide receiver 3, and that's Matthew Golden. And Matthew was a rookie last year, not this year. And the same true with Savion Williams. He was a rookie last year, not this coming season. And Sky Moore is a young vet that they brought in. Bo Melton, another veteran who's been on the team, another guy. He's their Tom Kennedy, if you will, a guy who's on and off the practice squad, on and off the depth chart. And then they've got a bunch of young prospects and rookies behind them. Will Shepard, Isaac Nayor, Brendan Rice, Jacoby Keeney James, and J. Michael Sturdivant. So tell me what you think of this group of receivers.
I'm really confused as to what the Green Bay Packers are doing at receiver.
During one of our shows where we talked about roster updates and roster changes in the business season, you said the same thing then about
They just gave, was it a max contract to Christian Watson?
and they
I mean,
don't have max
they
contracts
don't
in
have
the
max,
NFL,
they don't have
but
max,
he
but
got
it is
he
a
got
large
paid
contract.
amongst the he's one of the highest paid receivers in the league now. Yes,
Yeah. So, yeah, I know that Romeo Dobbs, Devontae, no longer with the team.
right?
So this is your receiver group. Young, it's a young group.
Yeah,
Overall, I
you and those
feel
deep sides crack me up, bro.
so. All right, so your ascending star, Jaden Reed, last year 1 touchdown. The year before that, 6 touchdowns, and in 2023, 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I know he was injured. Productivity, let's say in 2024, 857 yards. In 2023, 793 yards. The gentleman you just paid a lot of money to, 6 touchdowns, right? In 2025, 35 receptions for 611 yards. The year before that, 29 receptions, 620 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you and I both believe that Matthew Golden he's a rookie, but he should. Last year, I was disappointed because I thought he could have been in the talk for rookie of the year at the beginning of the season when we're
Right.
doing
Yeah.
preseason stuff.
Yeah.
I was really high on the young man.
Yeah.
Not sure what that situation turned out to be for him his first year there, but they really need Matthew Golden to come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really need
Like
this.
I,
They really need this. If he if he doesn't move up on that roll chart, then you're gonna have a hard time in Green Bay.
I, I definitely agree with that. As I think it was one of our end of year shows we were talking about. We were wrapping up and um, giving a season ending view of the teams. And we talked about Matthew Golden, being a rookie and not being productive. But Ted Aurora Macmillan in Carolina with Bryce Young, I almost called him Bryce Harper, with Bryce Young as his quarterback, was rookie of the year and had over 1,000 yards. So Golden with a better team, with a better quarterback, I expected better production. So that concerns me going into year two. People often say players take their biggest jump from year one to year two. Be interesting to see the improvements in his game this year. But like you said, if he doesn't play any better this year than he did last year, it could be trouble for the Packers. Then they'll be in that same cycle of drafting a guy who looks good, but then just doesn't quite come together for him. Watson often looks good when he's on the field, when he can stay healthy.
Right. And that's and like you said, we talked about this in one of our end of the season shows about just oh no, we talked about this when we did our review, the history of the teams, where Green Bay just doesn't have legendary type
Right,
receivers.
right.
Right?
We talk about
You
that
got
close.
these
You mentioned that the receivers are the guys who are furthest away from the ball, that closest to
right.
the ball, furthest from the ball. Yeah, all of their best players are always the guys closest to the ball. Yeah,
Exactly.
they don't have a history of being able to find elite receivers.
Elite receivers, but you have elite quarterbacks,
Yes.
some of the best, right? In the top 10 of I think of what we did as the Black and Blue podcast,
Yep.
but never having elite receivers. But did
Right.
you allow an elite receiver to walk out your room and sign with the Patriots?
Yeah. Yeah. When you have a struggling receiver room and you let your best receiver go. But again, you know what it comes down to? It was salary cap. Again, they didn't
Yeah,
have the cap room to keep the guy.
I
Uh,
get it.
they
But
just couldn't do it. They wanted to, they just couldn't. So they've got to rely on more young guys now because of their salary cap. Because they pay the guy closer to the ball. They don't pay these guys at all. They don't spend no money on receivers, bro.
like we can win without receivers.
We'll just
Okay.
we'll keep running the ball and drafting receivers and hope we find another Donald Driver. A they've had some guys who played with Favre, uh, uh, Jordy Nelson. Some
Yeah.
guys who played with Rodgers, but they've all been second, third round picks who they hit on, who I think that elite quarterback helped those guys get better. And I know that you'll like this. Maybe Jordan Love isn't a guy who's
And that's
helping
what
his
it
receivers get better. You have to ask that question, right? You have to
and
ask
that's
that
what it
question.
comes down to. It's like, is Jordan Love that quarterback? And
Right.
right now, he's not.
He hasn't shown himself to be so far, has he?
Right, right,
All right. And then looking at this group, like I said, they for their wide receiver one, um, he isn't elite. He isn't a Pro Bowler. Like I said, 35 receptions and what, 5 touchdowns last year? And the Lions' third receiver had that many. So yeah, concern. Wide receiver two, again, whether it's Reed or Golden, just not enough historical production there to get excited about. Wide receiver three, I couldn't give their third wide receiver any points. Had Dobbs
right.
been on the team, it pushes everybody down one, and it raises the level. This group is 3 or 4 points higher if Dobbs is on the team.
Well,
Playing
Dobbs
back.
and Wicks. If you had
Wicks,
Dobbs
that's
and
what it
Wicks still,
was. That Dontavious Wicks. Dontavious Wicks.
if you had those two
That's
still on this, you're definitely a better wide receiver room,
yes, I
right? Because
absolutely.
now you're talking about Golden being what'd you have Golden at? Did you have him at three?
I had him as the third receiver. Yeah,
You had him at three.
yeah.
Right. So then you're talking about Golden being your four,
You're a fourth receiver, right? Yes,
your fourth
yeah.
receiver. Yeah.
And
So
that I agree with
yeah, you let him walk out to the Eagles.
that.
At least for
Now,
him, he's playing with a similar quarterback.
Man, you rough today, bro. I guess I hit love. I guess I'm not gonna put love on you. You were only thinking that what I said about love. All right.
Uh,
But for depth, though, I give the Packers a 4 for their depth because they always have a lot of guys who look good, right? It's like if the guy can stay healthy, I like the guy. Where he was drafted second and third round picks, I like them. They always have a guy they can run out there. Unfortunately, he's no more productive than the guy who was out there before, or he would have already been playing. But they have productive receivers, so I mean, they have a lot of good looking receivers. Their talents. Yeah. Okay, man. All right, man. Come on, man. Don't laugh.
uh,
All right, man. I might have been a stretch there, but give me that, man. Come on, man. Give me that.
right,
Taylor
right.
Ceiling, I don't know, man. So I only gave them one. And for versatility and fit, they got a lot of guys who do what the Packers like them to do. They just don't do it that often. So overall, this was my lowest scoring team in the division. I had them at a 12 out of 20. So they've got guys that they're deep. They have a number of guys who are fast with good hands. Why they're not more productive, um, you have to ask the question of the quarterback on that to me. Um, but we'll see about this group. But I agree with you, man. They needed another veteran. Whether
Yes.
it was, and I understand why they didn't go after Brandon Ayuk, right? But they need to find another veteran who could be productive. And they could have, and they still may, by the end of training camp, I think, is Devontae Adams. There's another receiver who's out there, a veteran receiver, um, who I don't think has signed yet. But there are a few guys out there who I think at the end of training camp, 2 weeks before the season starts, you might see some of those vets sign so they won't have to go to training camp.
Is it
And I think the
Debo?
Packers would definitely say it
Are
again.
you thinking of Debo? Debo
Debo
Samuel?
Samuels is one of them. Yeah, he is definitely one,
Yeah.
but he isn't the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
somebody else out there too. I had forgotten about him, but yeah, he is still out there as well. All right, so let's move on and talk about the division champs from 2025, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears top receiver is Rome Odunze, a number one pick from 2024. And behind him, they have, or on the opposite side of him, they have Luther Burden, who was a number two pick in 2025. And then coming over from the Detroit Lions, they bring Khalif Raymond, who's a veteran, who'll be a solid number three receiver for them. And then they drafted Xavier Thomas, a rookie who they expect to come in and make the team and play. They bring over one of Tom Brady's favorite players from his days with the Tampa Bay Bucks, Scotty Miller. Maurice Alexander, and Maurice Alexander and Scotty Miller. They both are veterans who have been around the league, who have been on teams. Both of them have been special teams players. Both of them have scored in this league. So they've got a couple of veterans on their team who I think both have some familiarity with. I know Maurice Alexander was on the Detroit Lions when Ben Johnson was a coach there. And then behind them, they're bringing in a couple of rookies and undrafted free agents. Jade Walker, J.P. Richardson, Omari Kelly, and Kyron Hudson. They bring in the smallest group into training camp. They're only bringing 8 guys or 9 guys in, where I think both the other teams, the Lions are bringing 11, and the Vikings and Packers both, I think, had 12. So, what do you think of the wide receiver group for the Chicago Bears?
The
Oh, that is
Chicago
10. They do have
Bears.
10.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears clocking in from Indiana. Um,
That's right. The central, I'm sorry, the Northeast Indiana Bears.
so I want to say that the relationship between Oniduse and Caleb Williams last year was electric.
Yeah.
So as long as you have that connection, this is going to be a good receiving room. Burton came on a little bit last year, right? He had, I think he played 15 games, 652 receptions, 2 touchdowns. When we talk about Osaduse, he played 12 games, 44 receptions, 661 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But those touchdowns and those catches match the electricity that Caleb Williams displayed.
Yeah.
So if that continues, you have a really good receiver room. Khalif Raymond coming over as a number three and a returner. He's a solid player.
Yes, he
He's
is.
he's a he's a solid player.
Yes,
So
he
if he can
is.
get you some nice returns, yeah, be that third receiver, that veteran that catches every ball that comes his way, you have something there. My my hesitation about the Bears is that you're not going to have a repeat of last year. So you definitely need you definitely need a little bit more out of this receiving group. We,
Explain what you
we
mean when you say you're not going to have a repeat of last year.
there was an excitement, an energy, um, kind of once you get on a trajectory where like nothing can absolutely stop you.
Hmm.
You have was it six come
Yeah.
from behind wins?
Yes. Yes.
Teams are going to be ready for that.
Yes. Yes.
It's-
Yes.
right. So
I figured that.
it was a
I figured
special,
that. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it was a special season
Yes. Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
things were working in your favor
Right.
at almost
Right.
every opportunity.
Yes.
So when we talk about how electric Caleb was, on the other part of that is that he had to be electric to
Yes.
get you those wins.
Yes.
You don't want him to have to pull that out every single week
Right. Right.
because then what happens is the stuff that he learned falls out the way. He's
Right.
like, oh, he reverts back to doing what he has naturally been
Back to
doing since he started playing football at
back
6
to
years
hero
old,
ball. Right.
the
He's going to
hero
be
ball,
playing
right?
hero ball all the time. Yes.
You want him to continue to develop,
Yes.
stand tall in the pocket. If there's nothing there, get rid of the ball and play for the next down, not running backwards and holding the ball for 10 seconds and then throwing a
Yes.
60-yarder. Those things are not going to be successful next year.
Right.
It's not going to happen,
Right.
right? And then we talked about the defense. I don't want to spend too much time on the whole team, but we talked
Hmm.
about how the defense performed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, they
Yeah.
were the worst, best defense
Right.
in the league. Again, you can't rely on that. You just can't. And I don't want to mention the schedule, but they're going to have a tougher schedule. So
Right.
again, there's a lot stacked up against them this year.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention the Madden cover.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I figured out what you meant when you said it's not going to be like last year. So you need, because you're right, there's not going to be six last second wins this year. That's not going to happen. Um,
Right.
so yeah, you're going to need more production out of this group. You're going to need them to elevate their game. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. And you're
And we
right.
did it.
That chemistry between Adunze and Williams was special last year. Can
Right.
they grow that and not need that only in special moments, right? Can
Right.
they get that on 3rd and 7, midway through the third quarter, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah,
To
that's what
still
we're waiting
analogy, to still analogy from another sport, you don't need them to be hitting home runs.
for. Right.
You need them to do singles and doubles.
Need a bunch of doubles, right? Yeah,
Right.
let's get a
Right.
bunch of doubles.
But I just want to say that that season
Mhm.
reminded me of the show that we did where we talked about what were some of your special, the best, or what are some of your special memories or of a team?
Yes.
and what year it was and all that kind of stuff. That season rivaled the Super Bowl shuffle team
And
to
that
me,
season was special. Yes, it was.
right?
That season
So,
was
so
special.
when there's time put between that season and future in the future,
Hmm.
Chicago Bears, you should be looking at that season as just you didn't win everything, but that was a special season.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at scoring for this group. For their wide receiver one, again, just not enough long-term production, right? Just
Right,
haven't seen
right.
it out of Adunze yet in his first two seasons. So we'll be looking for that, for some growth for him. But I did give them a two. Gave them a one. Luther Burden's going to be their wide receiver two this season. Now this team lost DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Again, if they had DJ Moore, the score for this team would have been higher, right? So, because everybody again moves up one level now, instead of being the receiver two, Adunze is the receiver one. Uh, Again, I mentioned Luther Burden as receiver two. Khalif Raymond, man, I had a tough time with this one because I really like Khalif Raymond, man. I really wanted to get, you know what, man? I really wanted to give Khalif a two, but he doesn't really have the production. I mean, it's because he was receiver three most of his time
Three.
in Detroit. He was receiver four
Right.
last year, but he is coming over to be a special teamer also. So yeah, I gave him more points in playing time and depth, but I give him a one for wide receiver three. For playing time and reliability, again, I give them a three because they've had guys who've missed some games and haven't, and they are young guys in their career. So not enough there for me to give them a strong score for reliability. For depth, I like their top three guys, and then I like Scotty Miller, and who was the other one? Was it Xavier? Oh, Maurice Alexander. That's who the other one was. Um, if and I doubt both of those guys make the team just because of salary cap reasons. Both of them would require the veteran minimum. So I think it's going to be one of those guys and then one of the developmental guys who make the team, unless they actually keep six receivers, which I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson wants to keep six receivers. And then they've got guys that can run all the routes and fit and be a versatile group together. So I gave them a two there. So overall, I gave this team 13 out of 20. So this team gets a solid B. A lot of upside in this group, man. If Adunze and Burden become the players they were projected to be in their draft classes, this group could be up around 16, 17.
Hmm.
All right, so
And
that
you're just
go ahead.
hoping for you're just I don't want to say you're hoping for. You're looking for that development in Caleb. And as that offensive line got better and they
Yeah.
continue to develop going into the season,
Hmm.
you should see a more comfortable quarterback in the pocket.
Yeah,
That
with a second off season of working with Ben
Ben Johnson.
Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think hopefully Ben can calm him down, if you will, and get him to play less and less hero ball. That's the one thing about him being so successful last year was it continues to feed into the bad habits, right? Is
Exactly.
yeah, you keep
Like we
telling me
can,
not to, but when I do it, boom, right?
yeah, we can do this for 3 1/3 quarters, but
Right.
but when it comes to that last bit, it's hero ball. And put my
Yeah,
cape on
yeah, yeah.
it.
So man, that was fun breaking down the wide receiver group. Um, as you were going through this process, what jumped out to you as you're looking at evaluating all the wide receivers?
You know, the Green Bay Packers.
The Packers,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So what happens is, we're busy, we're doing real estate, we got kids, grandkids, and
Yep.
family events and all that kind of stuff. And it is the business season, so there isn't that day-to-day grind of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But when we sit down and I take a look at the receiver groups, and I'm like, where's Dobbs? Where's where's Devontae?
Yeah.
Like what is going on in Green Bay? Like this doesn't make sense to me. But when you score out, when you average out the score, everybody is where they're supposed to be as far as like the rankings
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
receiving rooms, right? And I'm excited to continue the process because on paper, it's going to say we'll come to a definitive. We may not agree, but we'll have the the rankings for the NFC North
Yeah.
preseason
Yes, we will.
based
Yes, we
on
will.
looking at these individual groups
Right.
and
Right.
saying this is a better group, this is a
Yeah.
better group.
Yeah.
They, Lions have A plus running back group. They have an
Right.
A plus receiving group.
Yeah.
They might have a C or a B minus offensive line
Right.
or a B. Once we tally all those together, we say, okay, so this is what it should look like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And
but it's
when
football. That's why you play every Sunday,
absolutely, and
Monday,
that's why you play the games.
Thursday,
You don't evaluate it
Wednesday,
on paper.
Saturday. What I mean, is there a day that the NFL is not
Yeah, I
playing
was gonna
next year?
say, didn't mean to cut you off as you were running through all those days, right?
I think they don't play on. I think the only day they're not playing is a Tuesday.
Tuesday, right?
At some point next season, we're all going to be watching football on a Sunday, a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and a Saturday.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Yeah.
They left Tuesday for the colleges. I don't know, and maybe just a football nerd like me who turns to ESPN on a Tuesday night in the fall, and you see that there's a Met game. It's Western Michigan versus Toledo,
Toledo, Ohio.
right? And it looks like friends and family only are at those games, right?
Exactly. Like a high school stadium.
Right.
Not even a nice high school stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
right.
It's not like a Troy Athens
Yeah. Or Country Day, right?
or a Country Day.
All right, man. Well, that
Yeah,
wraps
man.
us up for this week, man. Go ahead and put a bow tie on this episode.
Hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Will and I love talking football, but when we're not breaking down the NFC North, we're helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. If you have questions about your next move, don't fold the ball. Let us help you score a touchdown. Fellas, number one, make that appointment with your doctor. Make sure you keep that appointment, but share the pod with your friends and your buddies. Ladies, make sure your guys schedule that appointment with their doctor because it is Men's Health Awareness Month. But share it with your crew. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Don't be a knucklehead. Drop us that 5-star rating. And I know that a few people have recently subscribed on YouTube, on Facebook, and also on
Nice.
TikTok. So we
Nice.
really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it all. Hey, like Tellis said, we appreciate everybody who has supported us, everybody for supporting us. As he said, though, man, make the appointment. He said something key, though. Keep the appointment when you make it. Because I know I've often, what, I got something else going on today. I'm just going to cancel that. And then it's another 3 weeks. And then you move it again. Don't move your appointment. Keep your appointment. Make your appointment. Keep the appointment. It is important. All right. Thank you, folks, again for supporting us. And we will see you next time.